Hello, welcome back. Had some technical difficulties, had to get everything situated, but we should be all good now. Let me share the link again. I was busy talking to myself as the broadcast did not start because I did forgot to add myself to the stream. So this is the second, live we're doing. So I have to get used to using the StreamYard platform. So I'm gonna get some people in the building. And we're gonna have a nice action-packed show. So let me put this link in the chat. So I'm putting right now the StreamYard link in the chat so you can click on and join the panel, right? And you can just click that link and I'll add you to the stream so we can get this started. I'm gonna send this link out to some more people so we can have some fun and have a nice conversation. So I'm sending the links to some people so we can have some fun. Because I don't want to be on here talking about myself. This show, the Quran is live show on Thursdays. Hopefully I can do this every Thursday and grow it. We will be talking about various topics that affect couples, different issues, whether it would be celebrity news, things pertaining to male and female dynamics. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. Tonight we have two topics. The first topic is, should a woman submit to her husband? Right? That's the first topic. Second topic is, what are your thoughts on the Roe versus Wade situation? Should women have the right to have abortions in America? So those are the two topics. Let me put these in some groups, get some more people in the building. I will unpack those two topics in a second, but I'm trying to get some more people in the building so we can have a great conversation. So yes, keep coming in. Get your thoughts together. This is going to be a fun stream. Make sure I can be heard. I think so. I added myself to the stream now, so you should be able to see me if you're on the broadcast. Let's see. All right. Trying to get the superstar. We have a superstar on this show. Her name is Launch Pro. She also just so happens to be my fiance. Trying to get her in the building so we can get this started. Get it started right. It's not a party if you can't get people to come in and join you. Because I know that these conversations that I want to have on these shows will definitely be important to a lot of people, and everyone has a perspective. And I think the more we learn from each other and gain insight from each other's perspectives, the more we can grow and learn, take what we agree and what we don't agree with. So while I'm waiting for some more people to join, what I want to do is I want to unpack what one of the first topics. So the first topic is, should a woman be submissive to her? Oh, well, here's Launch Pro.
Hey.
Hello, Launch Pro.
Hi, Karan. What's up?
Can you hear and see me now?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. So we have two topics. I wanted to unpack the submissive woman topic and talk a little bit about it before we before we have our little discussion, and whoever else wants to join us. So I want to pull up something right quick. All right, so the submissive woman, or the woman who submits to her husband, that comes from a time in America where you had a household where the husband's was the breadwinner, and the Launchboard. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, is there a delay? Because you
No.
said okay. Oh, okay. You said okay, like you was just hearing me. Now I was a little concerned, but so yeah, there was a point in time in America where the husbands were the breadwinners. They was the ones to go out and work and make all the money, while the women were at home taking care of more of the household duties, cleaning, cooking, washing, raising the kids. Well, they both raised the kids, but the woman was more hands on, being that she didn't have a financial responsibility, right? But then, as times changed in America, the need for two income households grew. So you started to find more women going out into the workplace, right? As this happened, now tides have changed. Women started, you have the whole concept of the modern woman. Remember, I did a video about that, Launch Pro?
Right.
The whole concept of the modern woman, a woman who doesn't really need a man. She can, do for herself. She can, gain up. She has a high position in corporate America. She doesn't really need a man to provide anything for her financially. She can take care of herself. And so now these women, instead of staying at home, take care of the kids, they prefer to go out and do their own thing and establish themselves. Or if they do choose to get with a man, they're not going to be as quick to submit and yield to his desires, in terms of if he wants her to be more submissive and just stay home, she's going to say, I got responsibilities, tasks, goals, etc., things I need to take care of. And so I wanted to ask this question to people because I feel like um, it's an interesting topic.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on women opting to be uh opting not to submit to their husbands based on the fact that they may be breadwinners, or they just have positions at their job where they have a lot of responsibilities with work, whether they're doing 40, 50 hours a week. What are your thoughts on women choosing um, to not be as traditional, so to speak?
Well, in my opinion, it's unfortunate that we conflate the two. Um, Women who are traditional versus, I guess, submitting, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I will say is this, like, I think relationships are partnerships, and it all depends on the arrangement of the couple.
Okay.
Like, you might have a woman who is the breadwinner, yet what's the traditional definition of submitting to a man? I think that that's like the important question here, um,
Okay.
on my end.
Okay. So since the two of us is having the conversation right now, what does submission mean to you?
Okay, so from my perspective, I think what it means to submit to a man is, you allow him to lead the household. Um, you take a more subservient, serving position rather than equally leading the household or the decision making processes within that household. Um, his word is the golden doctrine.
Right.
Um, your opinions can be expressed, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be followed through or
Okay.
or implemented rather. Um, he is like the chief leader. Submitting to a man is, from what I've heard, like throughout the ethers on the internet, YouTube podcasts, it's like the overall vision of submitting to a man is pretty much, staying quiet and knowing your lane as far as just like a domesticated type of woman. Um,
Okay.
yeah, just letting him lead, letting the man take the helm and lead.
Do you feel as though it would be easier um for a man to take the lead if he was the breadwinner versus there be a scenario where a dual income is needed to for that household to be or maintain itself. What do you think about that?
I think it's easier for a man to take the lead in that regard because he's the chief financier of everything. Um, I tend to I tend to grapple with the idea of like submissive women in and their role in dual income households. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes like that whole submission concept comes from, earlier years where women were the homemakers. So they stayed at home, raising their children, taking care of the house, and their men were the breadwinners. They were going out and providing for the family. So they, by default, made the decisions as far as like home economics, groceries, etc.,
Right.
like the healthcare of the family.
Right.
Um, so I'm just kind of like grappling with the idea of submission and what that means when you have a woman who doesn't necessarily need a man financially, right? Um,
Right.
and then also for women who are equally bearing the financial brunt within a household.
Exactly. That's a good point. So is is submission something that is vital to is the fact that of a woman submitting vital to a successful or healthy union? Like, is woman submitting, or should it be like the norm for all scenarios, like a universal kind of thing where the man always leads and the woman always submits to a man? Do you see it as a golden rule for all?
That's what's promoted on the internet, on the social media. You have folks like Kevin Samuels, for example. Hopefully, that rumor circulating the internet
Yes,
that he's
yes.
dead is false, right? But you
Hopefully, it's
have,
false.
figureheads like that. Uh-oh.
What happened?
So so Storm Monroe, Kevin Samuels passing is confirmed. Oh my God, Kevin Samuels is dead, bro. Come on.
Wow, that's
Kevin Samuels is
I
dead.
I just I just put it in Google. Um,
What?
I I still don't see it on an official source, like a news
Storm
source.
Monroe is like Storm Monroe's sources are valid.
Storm Monroe. Let's
Yeah,
pull it up.
he is
Oh, he's a YouTuber.
yeah, he's the prodigy of Tasha K.
Wow.
And they're all in Atlanta. He said Kevin Samuels' passing is confirmed. What are your thoughts on his legacy? What?
Wow. Maybe we should talk about this
I mean,
as
I just
well.
mentioned this man because Kevin Samuels is always talking about like the modern day women and women not submitting to
Wow.
their men, and it's like this is just really I don't know how to feel right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely sad anytime you lose someone that is an influential person that helped add, shape culture on in terms of the YouTube landscape, and he was a trailblazer for
Well, I
his
don't even
style
want
of
to
content.
I don't even want to speak in the past tense because I mean
Well,
he just uploaded a video yesterday. Is this
wow.
for real? Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't still don't see it on an official news source, but I added it to the show topic. So if anybody else chimes in, they want to talk about it, we can. Um, but definitely was a trailblazer. I didn't really watch too much of Kevin Samuels' content besides a couple of clips that would come my way. But if this is true, it's always sad to lose someone. um you don't want to see people go, especially when they were just reaching their stride and their peak. And if this news is true, definitely unfortunate. I do see on Google there was a video posted by Storm Monroe. Of course we can't watch it,
Right,
but
because we're here.
you
Oh
know
man.
definitely sad.
Oh wow. Was found unresponsive at his home today. Reports are saying he passed away at an Atlanta hospital. What?
Mm.
So, oh, the neighborhood talk. The rumors are true.
Mm.
They did. He passed away. Passed away this morning. What?
Wow. I was trying to see if there's a YouTube channel creator that knows Kevin Samuel that I watch. I was trying to see if she was going to post on it.
Oh, wait. Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true, Karan. So Brandon B. Brown, he says, "Rest in power to my frat brother Kevin Samuels. Hate him or love him, he was entertaining." Oh
Wow.
no! What?
My condolences to Kevin Samuel.
Kevin Samuels is dead?
Well, his family, I should say.
Hold up, Karan. This messed me up.
Yeah, I mean, this changed the whole landscape of the show because you was just citing him. That shows how you know pivotal he was to these types of conversations.
He passed away.
Wow.
Oh, this is terrible. It's on iHeart. Okay, it's on iHeart Radio, babe. Yeah, he's
It's on
gone.
iHeartRadio.
He's gone. Oh my God.
Wow, people are definitely talking about it on social media.
The medical examiner in Jesus Christ. What? The medical examiner in Fulton County could not confirm or deny Kevin Samuels' passing, but that
they can't deny it.
but that
Okay.
they do have a person in their facility named Kevin Samuels.
Well, if they have a person in their facility, then that can possibly be him.
Named named Kevin Samuels.
Wow.
Oh no.
Wow.
It was an
That's
accidental death.
accidental.
No, this is sad. This is definitely sad. I mean, this man literally like just went live the other day. And
Wow.
there were a lot of women who were up in arms about what he was talking about. Like, you're above, if you're 35 years old and you're not married and you're a woman, you are leftover scraps. Um, Last night there was a video uploaded by him. Modern women are a party of one,
Were you on his? You
and
on his IG or his YouTube?
I mean, I'm subscribed to his channel, so I get the push notifications.
Hmm.
Wow, this is like really.
And they say it's an accident. Wow. Um. I hope it's not true. I mean, it's the more uh people we see posting about it, it seems to be that it is true.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, life is
the
so
YouTube,
short.
mogul Kevin Samuels has passed away. I still hope it's not true, but he definitely was.
I just went on Facebook and there's some mutual friends in the industry that just like sent their condolences to him.
Hmm. Does he have any kids?
Yeah, this is really, really sad. Like this man blew up in a year, pretty much, and that was it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, he was definitely someone
because
I
come
look
on,
to
you
as
know,
a
I used to watch him a lot. I used to
pioneer. Yeah,
watch
he was a
him a lot.
pioneer in the YouTube sphere and just social media, just viral content,
Oh
good
wow,
content.
Revolt. Okay, yeah, it's true. It's true.
You said Revolt posted it?
Yeah, yeah. Oh wow, controversial YouTuber Kevin Samuels passes away.
I don't see it
Goodness.
on Google yet. That must be social media.
Yeah, it's
You
on
on Twitter
social
or
media.
something?
No, I'm on Facebook, so I typed in Kevin Samuels and it's on Revolt. It probably just didn't pick up yet from the engine because it needs
Mm-hmm.
time to crawl. You know how these blogs work. Um,
Yeah.
he passed
Oh,
away today.
knock my mic down. I'm trying to see if we could find something to share on the screen.
Yeah,
Um,
just last week, he sparked outrage on social media after he said unmarried women who are 35 years old and over are considered leftover women. He specifically said if you live to 35 and you're not married, you're a leftover. You're leftover. Men know you may have a problem. Whether you want to hear it or not, I'll go with you. I'm telling you the truth you don't want to hear. That's what he said.
everyone's titled to their opinion.
Yeah.
That was his opinion. He had a strong opinion. See, that's one of the things I could appreciate about Kevin Samuels was that he held no punches.
People are
And
literally happy
he spoke his truth.
that he's dead.
Oh, that's crazy. Just because
That is
someone has a differing
horribly
opinion
crazy.
from you, that's crazy. That's the problem with this society today. People they want you dead because you disagree with them. It's crazy.
Misogynistic dating guru Kevin Samuels reportedly dies at 56. I mean, listen, he said a lot of salacious things about
So he says salacious things. So you pray for his death.
that I can't get down with. But
It's
however, how
crazy.
you in this world, how you made someone feel is what's going to matter. And you know, when you die, that's really going to be your legacy. So he had a lot of supporters, right? He definitely did. So those men who are on his bandwagon, um, you know, he had supporters, and he also had women who agreed with his polarizing position as well. um,
Hmm.
but he had a lot of people that were like offended by what he was saying, borderline misogynistic. Even you at one point, proved that some of what he was saying was false. Regarding like even
Yeah,
the
I mean,
low income
you're
point.
entitled to disagree.
Right,
You know.
right. But when you're
Um.
talking about like factual data, you know
Well,
what I'm saying?
I get to the science of things.
Which is why I commend you. But
Yeah.
but yeah, like it's really sad. It's really sad.
Yeah. Just because I didn't see eye to eye with him doesn't mean that I can't appreciate the things that he's done. See, that's what being objective is about. It's about being able to take the good and no, I don't want to say good or bad, the things that you can relate to and the things that you don't relate to, and you could just not accept those things, right? But you don't have to hate a person or definitely don't wish for their demise. That's crazy. I still would like to see it on a reputable news site off of social media, but I do understand social media is how we get our news first.
Oh, but it's
So
definitely on Revolt.
yeah, I just don't see it. I just don't see it on the website. If you have the Revolt thing on Facebook, you can send it to me. I'll share it.
That's crazy. And they're saying he died alone. He died the same way that he kept saying women were gonna die. Alone. They were leftovers and they were gonna die alone.
I mean,
Anyway, let
it
me
was an accident. I listen. You said, well,
cardiac
I don't know if it
arrest.
was an accident.
Cardiac arrest.
Well, that's not an accident.
Well,
Cardiac arrest is not an accident. That's
well,
a
we don't
health
know what
issue.
we don't know what led to the cardiac arrest. I'm gonna share
An
this.
accident is you're in a car accident, you crash, bam, that's it.
I sent it
Um,
to your messenger.
okay, you sent it the messenger, so we're gonna pull this up. Um, this is Quran is live. We break news on here, we breaking the news.
Mhm.
We had some good topics. I still want to get into those topics, but we want to talk about this Kevin Samuels passing as well. Um, we want to cover what's going on. So I'm about to share it in a second. I respect Revolt TV. It's a good resource. Let me share this on the screen. I never shared before. Let me see. Okay. So can you see the
Yes,
screen?
yes.
Okay, wait a minute. Why is it two Quran PEers?
When is
Oh,
your
one is a screen share.
Oh, okay.
I guess. Hold on. Let me
Mm,
oh, okay, there we go. So you can see the whole screen now?
yeah.
So yeah, Revolt has an actual article, looks like here. It says Revolt News confirmed from reliable sources. Oh, okay. So Revolt Black News, they have reliable sources that the YouTube sensation and self-proclaimed relationship guru Kevin Samuels has passed away today.
Oh
He
my
was known for
God.
dating advice in YouTube videos where he operated under the self-proclaimed title of an image consultant. Some of his most popular videos include How Much Do You Cost? How Much Do You Cost to Submit? But notice how we're talking about that topic. And
Mm-hmm.
Modern Women Are Average at Best. Just last week, he sparked outreach on social media. This is what you was talking about after he said unmarried women who were 35 years and over are considered leftover women. Wow. If you live to 35 and you're not married, you're a leftover. You're a leftover. Men know you may have a problem, he said. I mean, uh, that's not true in all cases, right? Because it could be very well possible she could be 35 and married for 12 years and her husband was a douchebag that cheated on her multiple times, and then she finally got the courage to leave her. She didn't want to leave because she has 3 to 4 kids with them, and now she's 35 and not married. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make her a leftover? uh, you know
According to
this is
him, yes.
this is why I don't like to make comments to fit a universal perspective. Most things you find or can think of does not it's not going to apply to everyone. Just like the concept of that's why I asked you that question about should all women uh, you know do all women have to be submissive in monogamous relationships? and that's just not possible. And I was going to get into why, but then we started talking about this Kevin Samuels. So I'm gonna take this off the screen. Let's get this up out of there. Let's get back to the original view. Let's hold on. There we go. Bam. Wow. So it seems to be official. Revolt is a reliable resource.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels. You know,
Wow.
even though I disagree with his last tweet or post or
I've
social
disagreed with most
commentary.
of everything that man said. Most of
Yeah,
everything that he said,
but
I
we can't be happy that he's gone because of that. You
no.
know.
Well, I mean, that's inhumane. Um, but again, like, this man just came out swinging. I feel kind of like I'm I'm unhappy with his body of
Yes.
work. I don't feel
Oh, you're unhappy
like,
with his body of work. Okay.
yeah, I'm unhappy with his body of work, man. Like, I don't feel like we've seen an evolution um in Kevin Samuels. Like, was he just creating that content to spark debate? Are those really his beliefs? You know, I wanted to see an evolution happen,
I believe
you know.
that really is his beliefs. I don't think he was fronting for the camera, so to speak. Or maybe he did go to the extreme at times because he knew it would bring in views. But I do think he really believed a lot of the things he was pushing. And to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think I spoke about this before. I was going to speak about this tonight. Um, Men who are considered high value men, or and all that means is that he has a lot of options. Surplus of woman would be interested in being with him, right?
Hmm.
Those men typically don't really like to be trapped in monogamous relationships, especially as they get older, right? They have different aspirations, and he already did the marriage thing. Some men, when they get to that point in life, they don't want that. So, however, and I know maybe that's how he would respond to someone saying, well, you're not married, right? But you can use that same principle to the women who aren't married too. Not all of them are looking to be married.
Right.
So having the standard that if you're 35 and you're not married, right, for example, something's wrong or you're a leftover or whatever, that's just like, not a fair statement, because a lot of factors go into why a person is single at a certain point in life. We're humans. I mean, people make mistakes. I mean,
Hmm.
people grow apart. That doesn't mean that, um, that you something's wrong with you. So,
Right.
wow. Should we continue talking about Kevin Samuels, or should we
I mean, we
jump
can
into the topic?
definitely we can definitely talk about um hmm,
I see a couple of people was coming in and jumping out, but they're not sticking. That's cool.
into StreamYard or your.
They coming in on like YouTube mainly. I don't think no one came in on Facebook yet.
Oh, okay. Well, um what I'll say is this: as far as submission, which was the initial point,
Yes,
Kevin Samuels made that really popular. Like,
he did.
modern day women don't submit, you know? Um,
Yes,
and I think the issues that that women in today's society face sort of even the playing field in a way, right? Um,
right.
Economically, socially, politically, evened out the playing field. So women have voices now. You know, women are assuming leadership positions. Women
Right.
are being paid top dollar, you know,
Right.
for
Yep.
their skill sets. How does that play a role in, you know, a woman submitting to a man when, again, like the landscape has changed? Men are not solely the breadwinners anymore.
Yes.
So I think there's
Yes.
a more well-rounded approach to a relationship as far as your two equal partners. Um, I don't. I'm conflicted with that whole ideology. Submit
Yeah.
to a man.
Yeah. And if I could chime in, I was uh I was gonna go deep on this because like I said before, there is no universal anything that works for all people. Um I'm objective and I try to be fair. And everyone, all I want for everyone mostly is to live in their truth. I always will say that. That's the number one thing to me.
Mhm.
If you're living in your truth, more than likely you'll have a more fulfilling life.
Mhm.
So when we talk about this whole submissive woman concept, it's really deep. I can go I can go to the core of the earth, or I can stay more closer to the surface when we talk about tradition, traditional woman, where it comes from. Why do we have these things lingering today? But what's changing today? Why you see more so-called modern woman or more women uh, wanting to like have less traditional roles and have
Mhm.
more of a egalitarian approach where it's like each party sort of it flexes like so you might have in some relationships you might have a man who's a better cook and he doesn't like the way his wife cooks. He loves his wife, but his wife can't cook on like that.
Mhm.
So he's like, I want to do most of the cooking.
Right.
And if she's cooking, I'm gonna get me some, Burger King,
Mhm.
because that's just his thing. He likes to cook. Or he may even be a chef by trade. Like most chefs are men.
Mhm. Mhm.
So a lot of women today, because we know and we spoke about this, or I spoke about this before, 51% of households are dual income. And
Mhm.
they have to be that way
Mhm.
because those households, a lot of them can't even afford an extra expense of $500 a month.
Mhm.
That can break a household if they get an emergency expense at five. So if you have women working as much as men, and in some instances, even more than men do, making more, in some instances, making more than the man does, how do you expect that woman to be submissive or traditional? I
Right.
find that to be more difficult. So I do understand that this country, um, even though we have a separation of church and state, is very religious.
Mm.
Most people, I believe 75% of Americans have some sort of religion that they
Mhm.
adhere to. And most of the religions they adhere to are uh, Judaism, Christianity, Muslim,
Mhm.
or they're Muslim. Now, in those religions, you have the divine order. It's
Mhm.
God, it's man, then wife.
Mhm. Mhm.
So people who are steeped in those traditions and are devout Christians or devout Muslims or devout Jews, those people will be more prone to having relationships where the women are submissive, regardless if the man is the breadwinner.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to start there. So because we have a lot of religious people, but most people aren't, you know, that strict when it comes to their religion. They're a little bit more liberal. A lot of people who consider themselves to be religious, they aren't as, strict when it comes to their religious belief. They believe in the religion, but they may not follow it to a T. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say this: the times for a woman to be submissive in those relationships, the number one way it can work is if the man is the breadwinner and he brings home all the bacon,
Mm-hmm.
and the woman doesn't have to work or do anything. In those relationships and scenarios, it'll be probably uh well if a woman would, stay home and do more of the traditional stuff. But there's a but, because even in those relationships, you can have a more egalitarian approach. Because just because the man makes all the money, that doesn't mean he doesn't want his wife to help out with certain things. Maybe his wife becomes his business partner,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's helping making financial decisions in the household. So even in those situations, you might not have a woman who is as traditional. But I think that if you want a traditional relationship, then it should be based off a traditional circumstance, which is a man being the breadwinner and the woman, being the homemaker, doing things around the house and being there with the kids and doing those types of things. So in those cases, which most people don't live in those circumstances where the
Mm-hmm.
man is the 100% breadwinner. Like we said, how half of the households are dual income. So you can just get that out of there.
Right.
Most people and most men don't make enough money to take care of all of the bills.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you want a traditional relationship where the woman is submissive and you have that true divine order, as a man, you need to step your game up.
And
Straight like that.
that's like the harsh reality that a lot of men just don't want to accept. In fact,
Yes.
there's another entrepreneur. Her name is Christiana Hurt, and she was like dragged on the internet because she said that a guy who makes $100,000 a year is not on her level. And mind you,
Mhm.
Christiana Hurt is the founder of Wealthy College Kid. She's a multimillionaire, young. She really is entitled to state that, because 100 grand a year, I mean, you can gross 100 grand a year and it's not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? It's not moving the
Yeah.
dial in meaningful ways. So,
Right.
you know,
Like
um,
New York and California.
right. So, like she was dragged. And the bottom line is, for those men who, you can't drag a woman like that and then say, well, you want women to submit. Because oftentimes what I found is that the same men who were dragging her were also the same men spewing the rhetoric of Kevin Samuels. Oh,
Right.
modern day women, they're out of place, they're out of order, they don't submit to their men. They're career focused. They're leftovers. They want a certain man who's making a certain income, and most men don't make that income. And what are you bringing to the table? Like it's just a lot of rhetoric, right? That
Right.
is grouped up into one bundle. And my problem is, the fact of the matter is that you do, like, if you want a woman to submit in the traditional sense, then guess what? You have to be bringing home the bacon in meaningful ways.
Right. So but there is another way.
Hmm.
There's another way. But the only real way to have that submission is what I just said. Now, you said the lady said that 100 grand is not enough for her.
Right.
Is she but is she desiring a relationship or a man that she can submit to?
Yes, yes. And she's in a relationship. She's in a
So
relationship right now.
she wants to be submissive,
Her
or does
whole
she
thing,
want?
her whole thing is that she needed, like, her men, you know, need to be
Mhm.
making either her income or more.
Okay.
And she's a multimillionaire and she's entitled to that. My whole thing is they were dragging her. I mean, for real, like both men and women who were drinking the Kool-Aid were dragging this girl.
Well, I don't know her social network. Um, I don't know what type of men she's exposed to. To find a man that's going to make that much money will be difficult.
Right.
That's not, most men don't make that much money. You would have to have access to a network of men that you can actually um be in courtship with to see which one will qualify to meet your standards that you want to move forward in a marriage or a relationship or whatever you're trying to do. So I don't really know her entire backstory, but at the same time, um I don't want to get on a woman for having high hopes, right? What's wrong with a woman wanting more for herself, right? I don't find anything wrong with the aim. All I'm saying is if she truly wants a man of that stature, she's going to have to be in certain networks of people that where she can come in contact with these men. Like, for example, like Kim Kardashian. She will always get a so-called high value man. No matter how many husbands she had, no matter how many kids she has, when you have that network or if you're in that sort of class where you come in contact with these people, you will always be able to attract a man on that level, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I don't know that woman's circumstance, but it sounds like that maybe that can be her. I'm not going to say that a woman shouldn't aim for the sky. I think that we all have the right to desire what we want, right? And
mm-hmm,
if you want it, you're going to have to put yourself in a position to get it. And she may have that at her disposal.
mm-hmm,
Um, as far as the second way a traditional wife scenario will work is if both partners are steeped in some sort of religious background that promotes that.
mm,
So if you're a Christian or a Jew or you're Muslim, those religions definitely adhere to a lot of principles where a woman would be traditional in her role.
mm-hmm,
So if you have two Christians or two Muslims getting together for marriage and they both believe in their books or their religious texts and they follow the laws, it can possibly work. But even in those scenarios, here's the thing. Most people, like I said, 75% of Americans are in those religions, right?
mm-hmm,
But most of them aren't, and I'm not gonna say most. I'm gonna say some of them aren't strict in their religious practice, right? They may not go to church every Sunday, right?
right,
They not, pray 5 times a day, right? They believe in but they're more flexible, right? I'm talking about someone that actually follows the laws to
mm-hmm,
a T,
mm-hmm,
right? Like they take that seriously and they believe in the divine order, right? However, if you have a woman who is a member of the church, works a full-time job, and she's doing her thing, right? It's going to be hard for her to be a real traditional wife because she
mm-hmm,
has so much responsibility outside of the house. You understand what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
But in those circumstances, you can find women to be more submissive because they have religious tenets to sort of back where they're coming from.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So if you don't have that type of religion, or if the man isn't the breadwinner and if the man doesn't sort of demand that his woman be a traditional woman, or communicates with his woman that, hey, I want you to be in the home, washing my clothes, cooking my meals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two situations I see it working. And even
Okay.
still, you have to be careful within those two paradigms, because if a woman has, like I said, has responsibilities outside of the household, and she's making more money, or just as about the same amount of money, and her income is valued just as much as a man's income is, then you may have some issues with her being completely submissive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that for most people, especially if there's a dual income household, they will benefit more from an egalitarian structure where it's like flexible. It's you're working together. Maybe I'm a better, like I said in the first example, I might be a better cook than you. So maybe I might do more of the cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And women naturally do more cleaning than men. So maybe you might clean more. But we both cook and we both clean, right? I may not clean as much as you. You may not cook as much as me. I
Mm-hmm.
may pay a little bit more bills than you pay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I still need you to bring in your 45%, 40%, whatever it is,
Right.
to run the household. So it's more of a, coming together to, divide up the household responsibilities.
Right.
Um, and that goes against, what a traditional wife is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's my suggestion. I also had this nice little study that talked about African Americans. I wanted to read this real quick. I just wanted to read a quick um I just want to read this paragraph. Well, half of the paragraph. Should I put it on the screen?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this on the screen. Because we're a part of the African American or Black community. So I would like to show what's going on in the community. Let me add this back. All right. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
So this is from Marital Quality of Newlywed African American Couples: The Implications of Egalitarian Gender Role Dynamics. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they examined 697 newlywed couples in the southern region of the United States, right? And the results revealed that couples reported lower marital quality when the husbands had more traditional gender role attitudes. The second thing it found was husbands reported lower marital quality when couples engaged in relatively more traditional division of household labor. Traditional division of household labor is, woman in the kitchen, woman doing all of the things that woman traditionally did back in the days. That's what they're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing is husbands with more traditional attitudes who also engaged in the traditional division of labor reported lower marital quality compared to all other husbands. So this was a study that focused solely on African American newlyweds in the United States. And they found those three interesting items. That's all I want to read. I actually read this whole thing, and it really pointed out some really good stuff. It talked about like there's a difference between African American um men, or African Americans and Europeans, based on this concept of how they view an egalitarian setup and a traditional setup. So like they were saying that European for example, they function better in a more traditional role than African Americans do, based on the fact that when you look at it from a social economic perspective, African Americans earn less income than their European counterparts do.
Mhm.
So it's a different outlook on egalitarianism, because for a lot of Europeans, or for more Europeans, they don't have the issues that African Americans have. So it's a really good read. I'll post this in the video description if anyone wants to check it out. But I just wanted to
Okay.
add that little mix to the table. So when we talk about African American people, egalitarian relationship styles when it comes to household roles uh tend to have greater marital uh satisfaction than the traditional roles do. So
Mm.
um yeah, so I didn't universalize it like I could have just smashed it and said, well, egalitarian style is better than a traditional submissive woman style.
Right.
I could have just said that, but I tried to give, people some flexibility. All I'm saying is don't just try to make one universal over the other, because when you do that, now we have to really break it down and see if it's even sustainable.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do you have any more thoughts on this?
I think you pretty much surmised it for me.
Yes, and I kind of you was watching me earlier, like when I was trying to do notes. I didn't do no notes for this.
And you just took
That's
it on
all
the
from the
full
top of the
job.
head.
But like I said, let it come from
Yeah.
an organic place, babe, because you're very well versed on this topic.
Yes. I just like to have some structure to my arguments, or to my, not necessarily my arguments, but my
Mm.
perspective.
Yeah.
So let's shift to abortions.
Mm.
Roe
Go
versus
for second
Wade.
wave.
Um you know what? Let's do this the right way. I'm gonna read some info on it, because some people may not even know what Roe versus Wade is. Um so I'm a we could read a little bit on it. Oh wait, hold on. Did I put the same article? I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me yeah, put this up there. You see it? Abortion in the United
Yes.
States.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Abortion is legal throughout the United States and its territories, although restrictions and accessibility vary from state to state. Abortion is a highly controversial and divisive issue in society, culture, and politics in the U.S., and anti-abortion laws have been in force in each state since at least the 1900s. Since 1976, the Republican Party has generally sought to restrict abortion access based on the stage of pregnancy or criminalize abortion, whereas the Democratic Party, which that's what's going on right now, actually,
Hmm.
the Senate, Hillary Clinton and the dude from New York, the other dude, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Anyway, they're trying to fight the whole um getting rid of abortion, making it illegal, right?
Hmm.
And the Democratic Party has generally defended access to abortion and has made contraception easier to obtain, right? And so basically in 1973, and you can read this Wikipedia, it breaks it down. The Supreme Court voted to legalize abortion, and before that, abortion, and like I said, I think this article touches on the history. I mean, it's crazy when you look at what they had to do in the 1800s. And part of the reason why they had to make abortion illegal was because you would go to these crazy midwives and like local herbsmen and people like that, and they would give you poisons, or as you said, herbs. You don't
Hmm.
like poisons. But they would give like herbs and stuff like that that were harmful to
Hmm.
women, and a lot of women would die. And even to this day, there was another website, I'm not gonna pull it up, where they talked about how half of the abortions that happen in the world are done through illegal means.
Mm.
that are not safe, that are harmful. So now, recently, actually, I guess I should have put this other article up too. I'm not going to do that, but everyone should have heard by now that the Supreme Court, they're in the process of voting to, make abortion illegal and pretty much like overturn Roe versus Wade decision. And people are in uproar. A lot of women, they don't want to hear this, and some men too. And it's another Democrat Republican battle. So, what is your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on Roe versus Wade and the overturning of it.
The overturning. Do you think that it should be overturned, or are you okay? Let's start with this. Are you upset that Roe versus Wade has been overturned?
Hmm. I'm not. I'm in a different place right now in life.
Mhm.
I can't say that I am upset with Roe versus Wade being overturned. I think I'm more or less neutral. I understand both sides of the coin. Um, I feel like I don't have a dog in this fight. me
I feel
being,
you.
me
So
being
are you
pregnant,
objective?
with our
Mhm.
baby. I think I'm objective at this point.
Yes.
Um, I have a few polarizing perspectives on this entire Roe versus Wade
Well,
overturning,
let's remember we're on YouTube, even though
and
there's
I
not too many
and I
watching.
I don't necessarily want to, divulge those ideas. Um,
Okay, so give me the PG-13 thought.
okay, so from one end, like, I don't agree with it. I don't actually
You don't agree
agree
with what? You don't agree with
with the
the
overturning
overturning?
of Roe
Okay.
versus Wade. I don't agree with that at
Okay.
all. I believe that women should reserve autonomy over their bodies. Uh, as far as, like, I'm pro-choice, so I believe that a woman is entitled to make the decision of whether she wants to carry a baby to term or not. Um,
Right.
there are different circumstances, that result in pregnancy. Um, and, preventative measures can be implemented, like contraceptives, condom use, birth
Contraceptives.
controls, etc. However,
Do you want me to go there?
they're not foolproof. They're not.
No, it's not even if they're foolproof. They don't use them.
Well,
They don't use it.
yeah, but for those
Eh,
women that do use it, they're not foolproof.
okay.
And so in that sense, unwanted pregnancy can still happen in those situations. And should a woman, um, despite taking necessary precautions to not get pregnant, still be, held responsible for bringing forth life? So now
Yes.
we're allowing government to kind of take agency over our sexual practices, our sexual hygiene. Um, and it's a conversation of, well, sex is meant for procreation,
Right.
So it's essentially, even if you're using contraceptives and they so happen to fail and you get pregnant, you are still stuck with, you know, the result, which is the pregnancy, and you will have to face the consequences of pregnancy. So in essence, we are now the government is essentially defining what sex is, which is a procreation measure and not just a uh extracurricular activity. You know what I'm saying? Not just a leisure situation.
Yes.
And that I have a problem with. I feel like, you know, I also feel as though, like Roe versus Wade, overturning is not for the benefit really of, you know, a specific group of people. It really is to benefit a specific group of people who, in fact, are dying faster than they are procreating. So, in
Okay.
that sense, um, you know, and this is supported by scientific fact, like sociological studies, you know,
Yeah.
and so when we talk about social issues revolving around Roe versus Wade, when we talk about the implications of government, uh, you know, intervening or getting involved in, you know, women's health or the women's
Right.
right to her own body, and
Right.
what happens and the conditions to which those things happen,
Right.
I personally have an issue with that.
Well, I agree with pretty much everything you said. Only thing is going back to the, I hate to go there. Am I fishing for a clip? Maybe. But when you talk about the condoms not being 100%, listen, when the condom tears, it's not a secret.
Or even birth control bit.
But let's talk about the condoms.
Okay.
When the condom breaks, it's not a secret. And if you just joined the live stream, please feel free to click on the link. If you want to join the panel, we're having an open floor conversation. This is not just, me talking all night. I have the lovely Launch Pro here helping me out, but we want to get the other people's opinions on these matters. But going back to the contraceptive condom thing, you know, uh, the issue for me is they don't wear them. So when the Democrats, like we read in the source, how the Democrats, they said they defended access to abortion and has made contraception easier to obtain. They don't want to wear the contraception. So like let's just keep it real. Like we talk, well, I didn't talk about this on this stream. I talked about this on another stream where I said how STD rates are on the rise.
Mhm.
And you know, people aren't using protection. So I'm with you. I'm always objective. I look at data and I
Mhm.
try to formulate my opinions based on data instead of just like a feeling that just arises from how I think the world's supposed to be. The world is the way it is, and it is the way it's supposed to be. And if it makes you unhappy, I feel bad for you. But you
Mhm.
can't, you know, uh wish the world was a way that it's not. You can try to change it and you could be an agent of change, and I'm for that. But the world is the way it's supposed to be. So going back to this whole abortion situation, I can make arguments. I can make convincing arguments for both sides.
Mhm.
And because I'm like you, it's like I can see both arguments. However, and I think before today, I felt as though I think I was pro abortion at one point. I think I was there. I'm not sure if I was there, but I feel like in my younger self, I might have been pro abortion, right?
Mhm.
Back when I was a Democrat, I think. Maybe, I'm not a Republican, but you know, uh I'm also not a Democrat. But anyway, so I understand and respect the woman's right to make their own choice because truly it's a woman's body.
Mhm.
Pregnancy is hard. And you can, uh give a testament to that. And if you're not if you don't have the fortitude to go through it, and to be real, let's keep it real. if you're not going to be a sufficient parent, an efficient parent, one that takes good care of the kid, maybe it's best for you to abort the life. Now, I know some people might hear that and go, whoa, that's kind of crazy. But I do think that there's some value to a person having the ability to choose what they want to do with their own body. Because at the end of the day, that woman has to take care of her body for that baby to come into being, right?
For 10 months, yes.
For 10 months.
And that.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
now, like I say, I'm not religious. I stick to the spiritual, the so-called spiritual side of things, right? More so than the religious side of things, right? But I do understand the other side as well when they say things like, um, you never know who this baby can be. This baby might be someone that comes to the world and finds the cure to cancer, right?
And that baby could also be Ted Bundy.
Right. But listen, I'm trying to work with the other. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. So let's look at it from a I'm trying to be fair. I want to give arguments for both sides.
Well, I think the argument for the other side would be that, life begins, no one has the right to take away life. So
Right.
that's really what the
That's
argument
where I
is.
was going with my statement.
Right, okay.
I was going there. You just took it away. Because you are right. Now, there are some people that probably we would be better if they weren't born. I mean, that's also a fact too. So I was trying to make it a solid universal right there, you know.
Yeah.
Anytime you keep something is not solid and universal, you just get rid of it. But no, I do understand you know, the desire to end abortions because if we legalize now, I don't know how you will stop illegal abortions.
Well, you're not going
The
to stop.
black market, will always be there. So if you take away the legalities of it, people might go to the dark side.
Yeah.
But in America, though, where you have more surveillance, more, more tracking, it'll be harder for people to get illegal abortions, or if there are illegal abortion rings, you'll see them being discovered and people going to jail. Because if you read like that Wikipedia article is really deep, like it's a really good read. It talks about the severity and punishments that they used to have when abortion was illegal. So I think a lot of people wouldn't want to risk it too. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you look at abortion as something that is not healthy, or you feel like it's harmful to the mother to constantly get, because a lot of women get repeat abortions. I mean, there's women that get 10, 20 abortions. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when is there a cutoff to that number?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of see it from that perspective too. Like, maybe women will make better decisions. I doubt that. I doubt that. But I see it from both sides. I don't want to just go with the pro-abortion side because
I
I
am
do think
pro-choice. It's not a matter of you being pro-abortion. It's about
pro-choice.
you
All
being
right, all right. The
pro-choice.
pro-choice side, the pro-choice sides
Pro-choice.
to me
Mm-hmm.
has the more convincing argument. If you read Roe versus Wade, and how they were able to convince the judges to overturn it. It's some deep stuff. And then also they could argue, well, you're going to bring back illegal abortions because you're not going to stop people from having abortions.
Illegal abortions are already happening. And then here's the thing.
Yes.
You don't even have to go on the black market to have an abortion. Like I said, like there are herbs that you can take to self-abort, or to miscarry. So,
Right.
I mean, even like over-the-counter medications, you know what I'm saying? You tell them, don't take this when you're pregnant. I mean, there's some vitamins that you can't take. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because they can lead
Okay.
to
Let,
miscarriage.
let me
So
let me
the
take off
bottom
the
line
gloves.
is, huh?
Let me take off the gloves. I'm taking off the gloves now. Now I'm taking off the gloves. I'm gonna keep it real. And I might make some of these ladies mad. But oh well. I don't believe people should be out there getting pregnant to the wrong guy. Or I don't believe people should be out there getting pregnant if they're the wrong woman. Like I talked about this a lot of times on my channel. It's all about the right person at the right time. If you're having an abortion, more than likely you're having the abortion because you're with the wrong person, or you're with the right person, but it's at the wrong time. More than likely, it's some of that wrongness is in there at some point. So I do think that people need to take time, and of course they're not going to do this. So this is why it goes back to the whole decision thing. Like people aren't going to make better. Like you're going to have people that are going to make decisions that don't make sense, or decisions that aren't the best, right? So on my or on my outlaw abortion side, right? I'm like, well, you shouldn't even be in these situations to procreate if you're not even on the level to take care of the baby, right? To and why should I give you the right to do this 10, 20 times? Now I know some people might say, well, what happens if you have a teenager that goes out there and get pregnant? They're gonna throw their life away. They're supposed to go to college, right? But it goes back to the decisions. And to answer the question, there is no right answer. It truly is who can make the more convincing argument. But it seems the Supreme Court has their mind made up.
Yeah.
So I know the Democrats are gonna fight. I know the Republicans are happy. And we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see how it pans out.
We'll see how it pans out.
I think this is an evolving conversation.
Yeah, I mean, based on what's this? Damn, I lost it. I had an article. They were saying how this whole decision or draft or whatever wasn't supposed to be leaked to the public. Remember that? We spoke about
Right.
that a
Yes,
little
on
bit.
Politico.
So it looks like this is going to be inevitable. And like 22 states have already, have it situated how they're going to outlaw it. Wow. Okay, so maybe this will be the last question and we'll wrap up, because I know we could talk for hours straight. But how would I'm trying to think how to phrase this question. If what happens next if Roe versus Wade is completely overturned and now women can't get abortions, what happens next? Like what should women do, or how do we navigate the relationship terrain now, knowing that you don't get any more get out of jail free cards, or you don't get any more do-overs. If you get pregnant and you have a baby, that baby is coming.
Mm-hmm.
How should women and men, but really women, because it's their bodies and they can't, a man could always leave, right? A woman, unless you're giving up the child for adoption, which is a very difficult thing to do,
It is.
that child is binded to you. So how can women how should women conduct themselves if their right to abort babies is taken away? You being a woman as well.
Um, have knowledge of self. You know, take women's health seriously. Take your health seriously. Go get your checkups. Be able to count your menstrual cycles. Be able to track your menstrual cycles. Um, track your ovulation cycles. That's one aspect. If there's irregular periods, get on birth control. If you know that you're going to be having sex, you're promiscuous. You know, I'm not here to judge, you know, your choices, your lifestyle choices. Get on birth control. You know, there's a certain level of responsibility that you have to have. If
Contraceptive.
unwanted pregnancy is something that you vouch for, you have to really be thorough with that, with that sentiment. You know,
Makes sense.
abstinence is, of course, you know,
Abstinent. Oh, you said
the
abstinent.
best the best form of contraception. You know, you can't get pregnant if you're abstinent. I think
Wow.
there are, um, I think there's like a recklessness with sex, right?
Yes.
Um, and this is just something that we've been dealing with for decades because it was always crazy.
It's always crazy.
Um, but you know what I will say to this generation here
Right.
is to really, like, you know, take into consideration um who you're sleeping with as far as relationships are concerned. You know, enough with the unprotected sex. You know, wrap it up. We have to get back to a culture where it's cool to wrap it up. I remember in the 90s, I was like the commercial.
Safe
Wrap it
sex
up.
doesn't
Safe,
exist.
you know, wrap it up. Um we have to get back to that accountability factor. If you
Yeah,
don't
with
want to
the
get pregnant, stop having unprotected sex. If you do not
yeah,
want to get
yeah.
pregnant, like, the message is very clear, just to answer your question, right?
Right.
So I think that's what, right? Because going back to the question that you asked, I'm just here to deliver, like, the very logical and true response. If you do not want to get pregnant, you know, use contraception. If you're in a relationship and you're not ready, you know, to be a mother, have a
Yeah.
discussion with your partner. Let him know so that you guys are both on the same page, you know, and
Right.
implement birth control. And when you're ready to bear that responsibility, get off birth control and start family planning. There's nothing wrong with planning for a pregnancy. You know,
Yep.
I think we just have to be more deliberate in our actions, really. And, you know, the government stepping in is going to force accountability. Um,
Yep.
that said, there are going to be situations where, you know, women are in unfortunate circumstances where, you know, they're in abusive relationships. They end up having, you know, sex with the partner who is abusive to them, unprotected sex at that. And,
Right.
you know, they don't want to, then they get pregnant. There's no way out. And in those situations, it can become really detrimental. Panic mode situations will result in a woman seeking under the table means to terminate. And this is my issue. My
Yeah.
issue is with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, what kind of support, resources, right, are going to be implemented for women in those situations, for women who
Yes.
are in abusive relationships, where
Right.
rape is more of a casual encounter. It's
Yes.
more of a like, okay, I have to have sex with him or else he's gonna punch my lights out. And now I'm
Right.
pregnant with his child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rape comes about in so many different ways. It's not always this like violent act by a stranger. So
Right.
what are the resources for women in those precarious situations? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's completely unfair. That's my issue. But if you are in an abusive situation, again, it's going to come down to, you know, um, being accountable. And again, the government has to put in place certain reinforcements for those women who want to escape. You understand? Who want to escape those dynamics and want to
Good
be
point.
integrated into society in a safe and healthy way, right?
Good point.
Um,
Yeah.
so this is like, it's not just a solitary issue. It really is part and parcel to many other social issues that revolve around like women's rights and women, advocacy and protection. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's some great advice. Um, or suggestions. I think that um piggyback off some of the things you said, definitely safe sex is a must. Abstinence, I laughed at that. When I say that a woman should wait 4 months before she has sex with a man she meets, people think that's too much. So abstinence is going to be like, huh, for a week. you know that a lot of women will scoff at that, even though they should adhere to that suggestion. Now, as far as what I say they should do, when you look at the Relationship Guys channel, subscribe, check me out. I have some great content on here. I always talk about the three relationship phases: courting, commitment, marriage, right? And each phase is important. Courting gets you to commitment, commitment hopefully gets you to marriage. Now, when you're going through this process, well, I think I lost Launch Pro. Her phone probably died, but that's fine. So when you go through the process, oh, here she is. She's back. You back?
yeah.
So when you go through the process of courting, you should be looking to one, first off, you should be an eligible bachelorette. You should have your stuff together. If that's going to college or getting a good job, if you're looking to be a traditional wife, establishing yourself as a woman who can take that role and to attract that type of man that is willing, that can provide that type of lifestyle for you. And then, so now you make yourself the right woman. Then you look for the right guy, the right man. And you can go to my website, karanpia.com. I have a checklist there where I give advice or suggestions as to different qualities a man has that makes him the good guy, the right guy, the best candidate for commitment, right?
Mhm.
So you have to go through that process first. I say, going back to your point about abstinence, definitely abstain for sex for 4 months. And during those 4 months, get to know each other, spend time. You can develop your sexual compatibility before you have sex.
Mhm.
So that way, when you do have sex, it can be a good experience. versus just two people coming together not knowing what each other likes, and maybe it's not as magical as you think it is.
Right.
Doing this also helps give a better chance for success in your relationship in the future. Because the longer a couple waits before they have sex, the greater success they have in their relationships, right? I've been saying that for a long time. So now after this 4 month period is up, you then decide, hey, we really like each other. Let's make this an official,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Launch Pro's gone again. That's fine. So you make this official, and now that you make it official, you commit, and now you're auditioning. It's like now this phase is an audition for marriage, and then once you get to the marriage phase, then you get into child planning. So all I'm saying is take time to establish and help foster a healthy, solid relationship. You do that, you won't. Oh, Launch was back. You back now. You do that, that gives you the better chance to not have to even worry about abortions.
Right.
So I know everyone is not going to follow the three steps in the relationship phase. And that's okay. But you listening to this video, you subscribe to the channel. This overturning of Roe versus Wade doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It's time to take accountability and responsibility for your own actions.
Mm-hmm.
As a woman, your body is your temple. Be mindful of what enters your body. Some of you, and I'm going to go there, some of you scared of a vaccine, but you will allow a man you barely know to ejaculate inside of you, create life, and then get mad that you can't terminate that life. When if you would have made the solid decision from the beginning, you wouldn't even be in a position to get an abortion.
Right.
So if I'm not saying that a woman shouldn't have the right to abort either, it's just that if you
You're
put
looking at both sides of the coin here.
Yes, I'm trying to be objective, but look, if you put yourself in a position to not even have to even abort, it wouldn't even be a big deal. And I just gave you the cheat code as to how to even avoid being in a circumstance where you have to get an abortion.
Right.
If you find the right guy, the right time, staying for sex, get to know each other, practice safe sex, like Launch Pro said, you ain't gonna have to worry about abortion. Use contraception, birth control. These things matter. So that's my suggestion, right? Answer to my own question that I just asked. I think we pretty much hit that on the nail. Is there anything else you think that we might have missed?
No, we covered this pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, I think I might have some individual clips that I could post.
Yeah, for sure.
Chop this video up,
Definitely.
R.I.P. to Kevin Sam. Yeah, R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels. We talked about that. You just timed in. We definitely getting ready to shut this down. But if somebody wanted to come in, if somebody just popped in, I would keep it going. But if not, we definitely gonna shut it down. But I want to say R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels. He definitely was a YouTube pioneer in the field of image consulting, or what would you say his expertise is?
He dubbed himself as an image consultant, and his whole MO really was to empower Black men. Black men were empowered by it. by his messaging in whatever way. He wanted
Yeah.
to be a realist for women who had ideas of what they desired in a man, that there were false ideals. Um,
Right.
his delivery in conveying that message was sharp, witty, sometimes demeaning, sometimes downright false and opinionated,
That's
rather.
the part that's the part
Um,
I didn't really vibe with,
but
like,
you know,
but I get it.
he had some points that I it gave me some of the things that he would say would give me food for thought. Um, entertainment wise.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so we just want to end it on that note.
yeah,
R.I.P. to Kevin
yeah.
Samuels.
Rest in peace to
I
him.
didn't really know much about him, but
It's more of a
I
shock.
seen his work,
I'm
and
not sad. I'm not, if I could be completely honest, I'm not really sad over this. Um I think I'm just more in a state of shock at this point.
right.
Because
Sadness ain't hit you yet.
he was so opinionated. He went live so many times a day. Like, he would go live like 3 times a day sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I was a subscriber. So I would see him, and he just uploaded a video. I think he was just live last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, in his
Yeah.
suit,
Yeah.
and
He's a
now
trailblazer.
he's dead. Like, it's just kind of,
He, he's a trailblazer. That's what trailblazers do. So I
yeah,
got to give him that respect. I didn't agree with a
absolutely.
lot of his points, especially on monogamy, like men in monogamy. But
Yeah,
R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels. If
definitely.
you don't have anything else to say, we could definitely close this out.
Awesome, man. Great discussion, Karan. I'm proud of you
Great discussion. We should be back next week, hopefully.
for sure.
Let's
Gotta
try to
keep,
get some
we
people in
gotta
the
keep this
building.
going.
Get some more people in the building.
Mhm.
And if you're watching the replay, definitely subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon, you get all your notifications, and like the video so more cool people can check out the video. And until next time, stay
Stay
blessed.
blessed.